last episode, we talked about like what we were looking forward to and kind of looking back on 2025.
Yes.
And you, Chris, went and found the episode from the previous year and the episode 145 that we talked about that led into episode 169. And, you know, whenever we record a podcast, we record it and then usually I edit it and then we post it. And I edit it so fast. Like, I skip around a lot. And so I always go back and listen to it. Like, I always listen to it in the car or whatever. And sometimes I'll skip around in the car too if I don't care about a certain section. But I usually listen to an episode after we publish it.
Okay.
And when I got done with episode 169, I said, man, I really want to go back and listen to episode 145. And so I did. And let me tell you, it just super duper reinforced how much I love doing these yearly episodes.
Yeah, they're really fun. It's a nice little time capsule, and it's nice little consistency. I like it.
You get to hear like what the heck. Like, the other thing is our pre-shows and post-shows, like sometimes we talk about something random. We talked about something random in the pre-show of 145, and it like puts you back. It's like a journal. Like, these are like a journal to us, and for me especially, I have a feeling I'm going to go back and listen to a couple of more previous year's episodes of this episode that we're about to do, and maybe some of those looking back and looking forward episodes.
Yeah, I should go back and do that. I have not gone back and listened to our old ones, but I do have the list, and it will be in the show notes of all of our previous episodes of the game spending. So you'll be able to take a look at those very easily from the show notes of this episode.
Welcome to Pride and Accomplishment. My name is Jason.
And I'm Chris. This is episode 170.
Episode 170, the 6th annual video game spending review on P&A podcast. It's so good. It's such a good, I don't know. Every year we talk about how good it feels to do these annual episodes, and like the numbers are starting to get pretty. It's when we hit double digits that I think I'm really going to be impressed with us.
Like the 10th annual game spending episode 4 years from now, that'll be kind of wild.
Yeah, that'll be wild.
We should get shirts.
We should get shirts.
Anyway, if you're looking for the previous episodes that are in this vein, it's interesting. You just mentioned episode 169, and the previous episode was 145. This is episode 170. The previous one of these was 144. So they actually switched orders.
Yes, and we talk about that in episode 145.
Oh, did we? Okay, I missed that part. Okay. Well, anyway, we're switching back, I guess, and we are 26 episodes apart from our previous game review, which means in our every other week format, it's been exactly a full year. Is that how that works? Is that math?
I don't know. I can't do the math that fast. They're not all even numbers. So I don't know.
Anyway, episode 144 was last year. Episode 118 was the year before, but this is episode 170.
A little recap on what we're doing here. So Chris and we talk about video games all year. We talk about what we play and what we're looking forward to and the events going on. At the end of the year, or the top of the year, we review everything we spent money on related to video games. It's kind of a year in review for us to, see if we have any regrets, look back on what we spent money on, maybe do some quick reviews and, value evaluations on what we did in the past year. These episodes keep us very honest throughout the year, or at least me, because I know that anything I spend, I'm going to have to report on at the end of the year. We separated it a little bit. We always start with basically all of the games themselves, software, right? Anything that we're spending on the game itself. And then a little further into the show, we start talking about some of the hardware. And let me tell you, as a little spoiler, that was a doozy for me this year.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a looser definition on hardware. So like it's hard to keep track of necessarily every single thing. Like if you get a new mouse or something like that, like that's a little bit tricky to track. But for the most part, we've been trying to keep track of them and get them in here. And then of course the big ticket items, like this year we both bought a Switch 2, which is not a spoiler for anybody. That is obviously a big component of hardware spending for 2025.
Some of the things we don't include are like gaming merch. So I like to buy t-shirts and you know, I don't know, plushies and all stuff like that. Not included. I don't know if Chris buys any of that stuff, but we don't include it because probably helps me out in my total. We don't include any non-game specific subscriptions unless they, you know, are kind of like super relevant. So game specific subscriptions would be like Wowhead, which we usually include, but non-game specific subscriptions like Discord Nitro or anything related to Twitch, like they're game adjacent, I would say.
Yeah.
And then this also probably applies to me more than it applies to Chris. But I have a girlfriend that also likes to play games. We don't include any gifts. So if we buy a game for someone else or we buy something, we don't include those in these totals. So these are what Chris and I have personally spent on ourselves on this hobby this year.
Yes, and it doesn't include gifts from other people either. So if you get a game as a gift, that usually that would not count.
Okay, with the rules out of the way, let's begin.
All right. So first thing, like Jason said, we start with software. We've always broken these out by the store or the storefront. Especially in the software realm, because that's the digital, you know, stuff typically. And we always start with Steam kind of by tradition, and usually because it's a pretty big chunk of at least my game spending, and I think yours too. So how do we want to do this? We want to just talk big totals and then favorites. I think we say this every year, but I think that's what we usually do.
I like that plan. Let's go.
All right. So for me this year, I had a total on Steam of $197. Which is down from 2024, where I had $222 on Steam, so down by about $25. So, and I was pretty happy with that. $200 is reasonable for Steam.
I was surprised by my total on Steam. Looking back and now totaling everything up, like it makes sense. But typically, I find myself, and particularly in 2024, I found myself not buying things on Steam. But in 2025, that changed significantly. We talked about it a little bit last episode that like a lot of stuff came out, particularly a lot of indie stuff came out this year. And the source for that is Steam. The other place I would go for that is Humble Bundle, but you know, a lot of new stuff, like when it first releases, is not coming out like on other storefronts. So I bought it on Steam, and I bought a lot of early day one indie stuff. My total in 2024 was only $151, but in 2025, significant bump, over $100 bump up to $268.
Wow. I thought I was going to win this one because I feel like I bought a lot of games this year, but then looking at our lists, I think we were about the same, and maybe you have a couple more than I did. But also your totals are higher.
Yeah, I have a couple more, and that's I was going to say I bought some big games, or bigger games, I guess, on Steam this year.
All right, so what were your favorites?
Okay, so looking back, there's like 2 or 3 major categories in my Steam purchases this year. The first, I'm not going to name them all, but my girlfriend and I have been playing a lot of puzzle games. So like Escape Simulator or In Sync is another one. We played I don't know that, and then we also played a lot of survival crafting. So there was a lot of like those games where we chose to play them together, and so I bought Raft was in there. We've talked about Raft on the show, so there was a lot of that in there. Split Fiction is the major game that her and I played together. That's $53 just on its own.
Wow.
Totally worth it. Well worth it. Would buy it again. And we don't count this here, but she didn't have to buy a copy of that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
when we talk about a game like Raft, I spent $21. She spent $21. When we talk a game about, but only my $21 is counted. When we talk about Split Fiction, since I bought the game, I bear the full brunt of that purchase. Mm-hmm. But she doesn't have to buy it, right? So that's kind of the two sides of that. Because we just take whatever's in the transaction history. So I just took the full 53. I didn't do any magic with it. So that's kind of category number 2, category number 1. Category number 2 is rhythm games. I don't know. In that was Rift of the Necrodancer this year, which came out. Highly recommend, $29, and Rhythm Doctor, $15 near the end of the year, which I also highly recommend. And then the third one, I don't know, new releases, I guess, or things. I don't know what to categorize the last one, but we're talking about Dispatch, we're talking about Kaizen, things that we've talked about. All in all, not a single purchase on here that I regret, which is saying a lot, I think. With $268 spent, every single game either got played by me or got played immediately by the the two of us, and I don't think there's any game in here where I only played once.
Wow. Okay. I'd say that's a successful year in Steam.
Yeah, I mean, usually, I'm getting really good at the 2-hour rule. So the 2-hour rule is easy now. Now it's I buy a game, I play it within 2 hours, but do I keep playing it? And this year, I would say, at least for all of these, I'm looking through again. I played them all at least twice.
Oh, okay.
Some of them only twice, but at least twice.
Cool. That's great. On my end, I had the smaller total and the fewer games, but a lot of overlap with yours, of course. I had Kaizen and Dispatch and Rhythm Doctor, which was great. Recommendation from you. I bought it right away. It was very good. But also, my favorite game of the year was Blueprints, I think. It's probably my favorite, which I bought early in the year. That was my first Steam purchase of the year for $27, and that was absolutely worth it. One that I wanted to highlight or bring up was that I rebought Myst for about the 5th time. So they did a remake of Myst on the engine that they did with Riven, which I think I talked about last year. And this one added some extra content to the base game, this 30-year-old game. And I haven't played it yet, but I did buy it and looking forward to getting into it at some point. But I want to support that developer kind of as much as I can because I want them to keep making more games. So I was that $11 purchase of Myst was sort of a violation of the 2-hour rule, but is it really if you've played the game 15 times already? So I don't know. I'll give myself a pass on that one. The other game in my Steam list that I bought and didn't play, so I violated the 2-hour rule, was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I bought the complete edition for $10 on Black Friday, I think. And it was only $10, so that is good, but it was something that I haven't gotten to yet. But I do intend to play sometime in 2026.
I think I did the same thing as you for Witcher 3. I have it in my library. I have no idea where it came from, but I wonder if I just bought it for $10 at some point.
I mean, you hear about it. We were just talking with somebody else in another Discord we're in earlier today, where he's like, The Witcher 3 is one of the top 10 greatest games of all time in his book. So I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I don't feel bad for having it, but I got to get into it. And that's one that feels like a big commitment to start. So I just haven't sat down and done it because it feels like I need an entire weekend free in order to start playing The Witcher, which I'm sure is not true, but just it feels that way.
But for only $10, it's so hard to pass up.
Yes.
The other thing I want to point out on this Steam purchase history here is we actually my girlfriend and I actually executed on something this year that significantly altered the way her and I play Steam. I have over 1,000 games in my Steam library at this point, and I'm sure you're right there with me, Chris, because of Humble Bundle and just the collection over time and all of that. But her and I joined a Steam family together, which means when she bought Blueprints, I didn't have to buy it.
Oh.
And when she buys something and I kind of like it, another good example of this is she got Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop, which is like a roguelike that I actually think you would very much enjoy. I could just try it, right? And I could just play it because we're in a Steam family together. If you have other people in your life, and I'm kind of talking to you, Chris, but I'm talking to a lot of other people as well. If you have other people in your life that you trust a lot, I would say this Steam family sharing is incredible. It's incredible. We share every game we buy. Almost every game. It's just the way to go. And, we don't have to be you're supposed to be in the same household, but you don't have to be. And it just works out so well. So, I don't know how much it actually saved me this year, because I don't think I would have bought Blueprints. And I don't think I would have bought the roguelike that I was talking about, but she's got access to every single game I have. So
works out well for her.
It's a really, really powerful tool and a really powerful reason to use Steam and to, buy and activate these games on Steam. It's worked out really well for us, and I highly recommend it. It's not scary, right? Like, it's not permanent. It does lock you out for a while, right? Like, you can only join, I think it's only join one Steam family per year. So if you join one and then you leave, like, you have to wait a whole year. But that's fine. Whatever. That's reasonable, right? Just a really good system, and has done some really cool things for us.
I mean, that's great. I intend to do that with kids in the future, because I'm not going to be one of those people where the kid just like sits down at my computer and plays on my account all of their games and stuff.
No,
like, that's not me. There will be a Steam family involved, and they will have their own gamer tags that are probably something that I think is stupid, they think is hilarious. But I'm not going to let them run wild on my Steam account. I will put them in a family.
Yeah, and great controls for that too, right? Obviously, Steam has family controls, but also, one of the things was like, oh, what if I don't want that person to see that game, or I don't know, what if I want to reserve this game for me so it's never shared, because like only one person can be playing at a time, right? So you can set games as private, even if you're in a family sharing. So I mean, they all kinds of good controls. So what a great system.
That's really cool. Yeah, I look forward to using it someday. All right, moving on.
The next category is an extension of Steam in my mind.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Because Humble Bundle results in Steam keys, usually.
Usually, yes. And if it doesn't, I usually don't redeem them.
Yes, exactly. So it's basically an extension of Steam, because everything we get goes to Steam. But Chris and I have been loyal Humble Monthly or Humble Choice subscribers since I think 2018,
at least
maybe 2017.
I'm trying to find my thing, because I think it tells you in your Humble account what the like member since or whatever.
The price of that subscription went up last year, and Chris and I have repeatedly talked about whether it is worth continuing. My subscription renewed in January of 2025, so it is about to renew here again in January 2026. I have to make a very tough decision on whether I will be renewing it. However, because of this review, I have some very interesting information. You get a discount. You get 20% off on Humble Bundle Store for being a subscriber on games you buy straight up, like you just buy, not on the subscription. And I have always said, I bet I save some money by being a subscriber and buying things on the Humble Store, which I have done in years previous. In 2024 and 2025, I know I bought games on the Humble Store. This year, I didn't buy a single game on Humble Bundle.
Really?
Other than the subscription I bought in January. And that was really telling for me.
Interesting. So I guess you should take a look at your account and see, because it is in Humble under settings, actually. It shows you your Humble choice, and you can click manage your plan, and you see your next billing date and your next billing amount. Just FYI, mine is February 23rd. Yours could be coming up sooner than you think, so you might want to check on it.
January 26th. I've got a few weeks to think about it.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm also making the same thoughts, because I'm only a month behind you, I guess. And they didn't do a good holiday sale. Like last year, we were talking about how you missed the holiday sale and all that stuff. I was checking like a lot, and they just didn't do anything, and that was kind of a bummer. But I mean, I guess I get it. It's a business, whatever. But they didn't do anything for you, and now we have this $155 charge coming up potentially in the next couple weeks, and I guess we have to decide. I did use my discount this year. I bought 4 different games, including Clair Obscur, and saved probably, I don't know, $15-20 total on those games, because I bought them probably while they were already on sale, plus the additional 10 to 20% that they give you on top of sales, because sometimes you get less than 20% if the thing's already on sale. But my total for Humble Store was $65 on games this year.
You renewed in 2024, so you didn't have to put it on your 2025 total, right?
Correct. I had no charge for the subscription in 2025.
You got lucky there.
And I will say, I am strongly considering keeping my subscription.
Oh,
for a couple of interesting reasons, which I thought we might want to get into on this episode.
Yeah, because I mean, I was ready to cancel live on the air right now.
Wow. Okay. Well, here we go. So I actually added a little tab to my personal spreadsheet where I go through all of my, track all the spending to prep for this episode. And I went through all of the months of 2025 and all of the humble choice months. There's actually a really nice website. Maybe I should put a link in the show notes to this thing that somebody makes. It's like a tracking website. I'm sure you found it before. That has just like every month, and you can get it in a nice little list. And I basically went through a list. I went through the list and said, which things might I have bought for myself? Not would I have, but like, would I have considered purchasing, or like looks like something I would have bought if I was in the mood to play it. And I made that list. And then I went to SteamDB and I said, okay, what's the lowest recorded price on Steam of all these games? Saying like, if I had gotten it on the absolute best sale I could have gotten it on at any given time, which most of them were actually on the current holiday sale that ends in 20 hours as we record this. But anyway, my total for all of the games I cared about, it was like 30 something games. My total was $300 of quote unquote value of games that I might have bought otherwise. And like, I included like V Rising, which I already owned, but like I would have bought, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So like, yes,
that's a very conservative way to estimate it. And a very cool analysis. I might have to do the same thing. And do an analysis like that. I'm not sure I was interested in as many games as you were, but maybe.
I put in a couple, like I didn't put in all of the 7 Warhammer games that were across the year or whatever it was. I put like 1 or 2, but like I think you would put the other 2 or 3 like in your list.
Sure.
So like, and like, I had games like Dredge was in there, and 1,000 Times Resist and Pacific Drive, and like these different games that like I probably wouldn't have gone and bought for myself, but like I did gladly redeem them. I mean, I know we're redeeming all of them nowadays because the keys expire, which is annoying, but anyway, anything where I was like, oh yeah, I might have bought this, like Destiny 2 The Final Shape, like I put that on there because that was a couple months ago. So all of those kinds of things, it does start to add up a little bit. Plus there is the fact that I probably did save 10 or $15 on buying stuff, which is minor, but it still counts. And the fact that I like being a member of a club, so I am tempted to just continue and let this ride.
Okay, all right. You have convinced me to not immediately cancel and to do some analysis before I make a decision. So I guess that's a step. And maybe I'll update in a couple episodes on what I decided.
Yeah, I would be very interested to see because I think I'm going to keep mine. Even though the price has gone up a little bit, it's not such a bad deal yet that I can't in good conscience keep it.
You know what? The price has gone up a lot and I can't keep it.
Yes, I think I do. It sounds like it might be Xbox Game Pass.
It is absolutely Xbox Game Pass. So Chris and I have had the sweet deal for so long that you have heard about on previous episodes of the Spending Review. I don't know when yours expired, but mine expired this year. We were getting Game Pass for effectively like $6 or $5 a month. I mean, it was such a sweet deal.
Formerly the best deal in gaming.
Yeah, formerly the best deal in gaming. Don't get me wrong. If you play the games that are on Game Pass, I still believe it is an excellent deal.
Sure, especially now that it includes Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, if you're playing on a Xbox Rogue Ally X device, if you're streaming, if you're playing all of the games that come out constantly, if you're not buying any other games, right, and you're only playing what's on this because it's your Netflix and you're just choosing to play whatever on Game Pass, great deal. I really do think it's still a good value if you use it that way. But it is no longer a subscription you just keep to just have.
Well, and I'm not sure it ever was if you weren't doing the deal like we were, but that's fine. I mean, maybe it was, but it isn't anymore.
I messed up this year. I knew my subscription was canceling. I don't know. I missed canceling it. It renewed for a couple of months before I caught it. And I ended up spending $84 on Game Pass this year. A little bit of that was Ultimate before the price went up to $30. It was at $20. And then I lowered it to the PC Game Pass, which is a few dollars less per month. So in the end, I spent $84 on it, and I will confirm it is now canceled. Near the end of the year, I got it canceled. I will renew it, though. We have talked about it a couple times on this. I'm not saying that I'm not going to go back. I'm saying that I will now high churn this subscription, where I will pay for it when I need it, and I will cancel it when I don't.
Yeah, I did not spend any money on the Microsoft Store that counts for this year. However, I did pay for a single month of PC Game Pass, I believe it was, because I paid $12.99 and then I canceled like 2 weeks later, which I fully expected to pay for that month, and they refunded me the whole month. So they gave me my $12.99 back, which is very surprising because I got it, I played, I forget what, and for like a week and a half, and then I was like, you know what, I'm not really using this, and I'm not going to keep using it, so I'm going to cancel, figuring I would just pay my $12.99, and I didn't have to.
Interesting. I wonder if it's just easier for them to refund you than it is to prorate you.
That could be. They may have just been like, yeah, we don't feel like giving you $6.26 back or whatever. Like, it was great. So now I'm looking at the page, and PC Game Pass is $16.49 a month.
Yeah, it's expensive, and then like I said, it's worth it if you use it, but it's not if you just let it run. I mean, didn't it used to be $9.99?
PC I think used to be $9.99 or $11.99. It was cheap. Yeah, it was cheap. I mean, and I think I don't know. A yearly deal would be very nice. Like a certain amount per year. That would make it more compelling potentially, right? I'm paying $140 a year for Humble Bundle, like $160 a year for Xbox PC Game Pass. Could be tempting, but you know what would make it absolutely a done deal, Chris? What?
World of Warcraft subscription.
Yes, that would make it a very much a done deal, and they should just do it. Like, come on.
I don't know what the price is going to have to be, but if they included a World of Warcraft subscription in $30 a month, Game Pass Ultimate, I don't know if you know this, but Fortnite Crew is in there. I know that doesn't mean a lot to you, but I've bought that before. EA's Pass is in there. So, you get some of the other stuff. I think Ubisoft's might be included in that 30-day. I'm not sure.
It's
on that
Ubisoft
one.
plus Classics. It's not all their new stuff, but it's their older stuff.
Yeah. So Outlaws eventually would get there. Like, there's a lot of good stuff in that $30 value. All I need is World of Warcraft to be there.
I think they could do the $30 thing, and even, I mean, I shouldn't say this out loud, but like make it a little more than $30 and still be like, but less than an additional 15, like if it was 35 with WoW in it versus 45 for Game Pass plus WoW.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, just do it like, I don't know, like an add-on, like other subscription services.
Yeah, like a prorated, or not prorated, but like a reduced cost add-on if you already have Game Pass kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it changes the value a little bit, because normally I wouldn't subscribe to that $30 a month. So every dollar over that $30 is, the math starts to wear on you a little bit, I would say. But it would be instant for me, probably 12 months a year, if World of Warcraft was included with it, with everything else that it has, plus all the day one stuff from Microsoft. I mean, it's very close to a good deal for me. With World of Warcraft, and you're right, I might consider a little bit of an add-on if they went that way.
Well, because between Fortnite Crew, which is what, $12 a month or something like that, and WoW, which is 15, like you're already at basically $30.
Yeah, and Ubisoft Classics I think is $8 a month, and EA Play is I think $8 a month. Like, you're combining a lot of subscriptions there and combining them into what is a pretty good existing Microsoft bundle of games.
Yeah, you would get access. I just looked on their website to the Ubisoft Classic, because it's in the Classics package, of Skull and Bones, that pirate game that we played the beta of.
Ooh, that quadruple A game that we didn't play.
Yeah, we played for like half an hour in the beta.
I think we played the beta. Yeah,
and it was not great. But I guess that makes it an instant classic.
I guess. If they would include it in their subscription, I would have saved $64 on World of Warcraft this year.
I would have saved 30.
As we move into the next category, we kind of group it under the heading of MMOs, but each MMO kind of has its own storefront. Our first is World of Warcraft. We both bought the next expansion. We both pre-ordered it. I bought the collector's edition for $164, but I spent $64 on just subscription time. And that's the money that I'm saying should be included in the Game Pass.
Absolutely. I actually have a little bit of a thing to go with what's in our internal show doc here. I wrote Midnight Epic Edition for $90, which is what Midnight Epic Edition costs. But that was a little bit of a bait and switch, because what this $90 actually was is the auction house mount that was available at the end of last year that we talked about, that you bought last year and I didn't, but then I did. And so I have
You haven't told me for a whole year?
Yep. Yep.
You kept it quiet for a whole year?
This is a live reveal on the air. Yes.
How did you do that?
I bought it on January 4th, I think, right? Like the day it expired, I bought it. And I actually...
You just made me lie to millions of people that said that you bought the collector's edition. No, I'm just joking.
I fixed it quickly.
I cannot believe you. I cannot believe you.
The thing I find actually the very funniest about this is that there was like a brief, 3 weeks that we overlapped playing WoW in like February or so. And I had the mount, and we were doing like mount comparisons and stuff at some point. And like, I just like idled on the mount. Like we weren't comparing it, but like, I just like happened to get on it and like didn't say anything. And you didn't notice.
Chris, I'm a completely oblivious person. I'm not
wish I had a clip
all.
of that. But anyway, yes, I did buy the thing because I had FOMO, and it's a utility purchase, which we talked about last year, and all of those things. But I did buy the, I forget what the exact name of it was, but the Traders whatchamathing Brutosaur I bought. Traders Gilded.
It came back at the end of 2025 too. I don't know if you know that.
I did not, because I've been so out of the game. But did it come back? Was it the same price?
I think it was the same price. So
Okay.
I mean, no value lost there.
Yeah. Well, time value money and all that.
But, wow. Okay. Well, so on the bright side, that means you still have to spend at least $50 on World of Warcraft this coming year.
Correct. Yes, I do. And I will probably buy the Epic Edition for $90. So that is coming in 2026 for me. But the reason I didn't want to buy it until I'm ready to use it is because it comes with an instant 30-day game time in that pack. And I'm not ready to play yet. So when I'm ready to play, fair. I will buy it like the day of, and then get my 30 days, probably around 3 weeks before the expansion comes out or something like that. And then that'll be my
I am
first
saved by
month.
that because I buy the collector's edition, and the Epic Edition comes with it when it gets shipped, but it usually doesn't arrive until a month before the expansion comes out. So I pre-ordered the collector's edition, but did not get that game time because I don't have it yet.
Anyway,
I am stunned. I don't even know how to move on. I don't.
I feel like I have to like send you a receipt or something, because I did do this on January 4th, 2025, or January 6th, 2025.
My goodness. Okay.
But all in all, I spent $120 on WoW for the whole year, which is actually less than I've spent in previous years on just monthly subscriptions alone. So not prepaying and not like going crazy and going for 6 months and all that stuff has saved me a bunch of money, even with buying a $90 auction house mount.
It works, doesn't it? I mean, this year was different, but it works. I'm telling you. Chris has nothing else in the MMO category, so I guess the rest of the section is mine.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get a drink. I'll be back.
I play Guild Wars 2, if anyone didn't know. And I've maintained my 2-year streak now, Chris, of not buying any premium currency for Guild Wars 2 other than what comes with the expansion. So I buy the Ultimate Edition of the expansion. This year's Visions of Eternity came out. Very good expansion. I buy the Ultimate Edition, which comes with, I think it's maybe $50 worth of gems for $20 in spend.
I think you're right. Something like that.
it's a good deal, and that's the only gems I've needed in that game. I still have plenty to spare, and it was a great purchase. So that's another $80 in the MMO category. I spent $26 on Warframe this year, which is $26 more than last year, but hundreds of dollars less than previous years.
Yes, that is true.
It is so hard to resist the urge to spend money on Warframe. Every time I get a coupon or something comes out, I want to spend money, but I still have hundreds of dollars of premium currency available in game, and I have been churning through it. Like, really? I've spent thousands of that currency, and I still have a couple thousand left. I think, based on the trajectory, that I will be spending some money in Warframe in 2026. My hope is that I keep it below $200 to refill everything and kind of get back up to where I'd like to be. But $200 on Warframe, which I spend a lot of hours in every couple years, I think is completely reasonable.
Oh yeah, I think that's very reasonable. Warframe, yeah, is your kind of like background game, which for me, the longest time that was Dota 2. I have not spent anything on Dota 2 in a while. Well, I didn't spend anything this year, and I did a little bit last year, but it was like $10. But like in previous years, I had spent hundreds of dollars on cosmetics in a free-to-play game. So I get it. I just haven't done it lately.
Right. And then the last category in MMOs is like my largest violation of the 2-hour rule in 2025.
Okay.
My biggest regret with Warframe is that I'm not a founder. I didn't pay for the early access. I didn't buy it. I don't even know if I knew it existed, but it came out in 2012 and I didn't get the founder pack for Warframe. I was in college at the time. I wish I would have known about it. I wish I would have done it. I would have given them everything I had. If I could go back and do it today, right? Well, Digital Extremes is developing another game called Soulframe, which I am not as gung-ho about. Like, I think it's cool. I like what I see, but I have this massive regret with Warframe, and Soulframe released their founders packs a couple months ago. I think December sometime. And I bought the premium one. I bought the top level one. I spent $100. It was only $100 for the top level founder pack, and I have not played it yet. I intend to play it, but I was just like, I can't not do it. I have such huge regrets with Warframe. I have to do this. So that's the one major violation of the 2-hour rule this year.
I got to say, you told me about this when you did it, whenever it was. And I was even tempted because, like, you never know if something's going to be like the big game you want to play in like 5 years. And being that founder level is interesting. However, I've also been around long enough to see many games come and go and not really have anything to show for their founders. Like, if you were an Anthem founder, like, who cares, right? Because Anthem's going away. So I'm tempered by that, but I am, I don't know. I'm tempted also by the same thing you're talking about.
If it was a different developer, I wouldn't be as tempted. But I there's so much regret with Digital Extremes and Warframe. Like tremendous, sure. Like, to the point I have not executed on it, and I do not plan on actually doing this, but I have looked to go buy a founder's account.
Okay.
Right? Like, I'm there. I have looked at what they cost. Buying an account. And against the EULA, who cares? Whatever. Terms of service. Whatever. But I have gone and looked. And I'm never going to do it because I've earned so much on my account now that I'm never going to transfer to another account. But sure, there's a lot of regret there. So because it's Digital Extremes, it was an instant purchase for me.
That makes sense.
My total for the MMO category altogether was $438 in 2025. $2 more than 2024.
Mine was $82 less than 2024 because I had spent $202 on WoW last year and I only spent $120 on WoW this year. So there we go.
Well, you got another $90 on the expansion in 2026, and
some months of sub probably,
and some months of sub, hopefully for me and you. But I think you should. I think this is absolute proof that you should not buy 6 months at a time anymore.
No, I think that the most I'm willing to do for myself is probably 3 months, unless they have a killer mount that I really, really want in the 6 month deal. And I think I have a chance of playing.
They always come later to the store.
I know. And I should just be willing to do that. But something about like paying $25 or whatever for a single mount just doesn't feel as good as being like, hey, it was free, quote unquote,
You're
with my $90 commitment.
It's not. That's okay. All right.
You should have heard how much hemming and hawing and back and forth I went with on the $90 mount that I gave you such a hard time about. I went back and forth and back and forth. I was talking to my wife about it. I was just like, this is such a dumb purchase. I should not do this, but I really want to do this. Is it okay if I do this? And actually, this episode and the game spending reviews was a factor of like, yeah, I mean, this is reasonable within your general pattern, and also it'll be great to do as a reveal, here in 2026. So, did it for the content. I should write this off of my taxes or something.
There you go. Okay, well, I'm gonna save it with the next category.
Okay,
because I think I won, even though it wasn't a contest. I think I won.
Okay.
The next category is the Epic Games Store, right? We talk about storefronts. We buy things from the storefronts. For years and years and years, this has been $0. We don't spend any money, but we report on this because we get a lot of free games from the Epic Games Store. I am here to report today that I spent $13 on the Epic Games Store in 2025.
The strategy worked, or maybe it didn't.
Because... yeah, I don't know if it worked, because I subscribed to Fortnite Crew for 1 month. There is a lot of value in Fortnite Crew, particularly if you're also playing Rocket League now. But you get the Battle Pass, and there was Star Wars Battle Pass this year, and it was actually really good, and we were playing it as a group, and I was having a really good time. So I spent $13 on the Fortnite Crew. Don't regret it at all. It was a great purchase. It was great. But... that's not what we talk about Epic Games Store. We talk about Epic Games Store because of all of the free games we get throughout the year. And last year, I claimed 44 free games on the Epic Games Store.
Wow.
This year, through a combination of the games that Epic gives away and the games you get from Amazon Prime on Twitch called Luna, I got 77 free games on the Epic Games Store this year.
Wow.
Haven't played a single one.
Well, it doesn't violate the 2-hour rule if you didn't spend any money on it, I guess.
The thing that surprised me, though, and this is not Epic Games, but I did want to throw this in here, is Amazon Prime, Amazon Prime on Twitch. It's called Amazon Luna. It's their gaming division, whatever. They give away tons of games. Some of them are on Epic. Some of them are on Legacy Games, I think it's called the site. Some of them are directly on Amazon Luna. I don't do those. Whatever. I'm not downloading another launcher. And then some of them are on GOG, which is, I think that's the DRM free versions of the game. You can just download the straight executable. I got 92 games through Amazon Prime on GOG this year.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Haven't played a single one of them.
Well, you have another 100 games in case you run out of other games to play in your Steam library. I got 12 Epic free games claimed in 2025, and I think half of them were in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, they do that Christmas thing, that holiday bonanza.
Yeah, I wasn't really into it, but I happened to see a few good games kind of go by, and I picked them up, including one that we both were interested in called Viewfinder that came out a week ago.
Yeah, Viewfinder. There's actually, as I scroll through there's a lot of good games that came out on this through these programs. Viewfinder, Talos Principle is in there somewhere. I'm trying to remember a couple offhand, but I remember a lot of those puzzly, tiny kind of games that I probably need to go back through and look if I actually want to play them, because I keep saying, I didn't play any of them, but there's probably a couple in there that I should try.
I did take a look at the Amazon Luna website just because I don't think, since they kind of rebranded. And I am seeing that they have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle included with Luna. which I think you have to stream from their servers, but like it's free, included in my Prime subscription. So that's interesting.
That's something.
It is something.
I think there might be a premium version of Luna. I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
There is a premium, yes, but I'm unclear as to if any of these actually let you download any of these games, or if you, because they'll just say play now, and I think if you click that, it just like streams it from your browser.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that is it for PC games. And this is usually where we put a stop in the show and we subtotaled it all up. But because Chris's gaming environment has changed so much over to the PS5 in past years and now to the Switch, I think it only fair, I think we did this in 2024 as well, that we just kind of wrap all the games into one.
Sure.
Mine's really easy. I got a Switch this year, which we'll talk about a little later. Didn't have to buy Mario Kart because it came with it. So my only console purchase this year across PS5 and Switch was Donkey Kong Bonanza for $75.
Nice. I bought Donkey Kong Bonanza and its DLC for $90, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. And my total for Switch 2 games in 2025 was $401.
Dang.
Yeah, I got a little carried away. Last year, I spent $120 on Switch games, and I'm including Switch and Switch 2 games in this total. I'm just calling them all Switch 2. But I bought a bunch of things because I was on the Nintendo hype train, and every few years I kind of go through and do a little sweep of the eShop, I think, and buy up a bunch of stuff I've had my eye on because things go on sale finally on Nintendo platforms like 3 or 4 years after they come out. So this year I got Mario vs. Donkey Kong, which is a fun little puzzle game that I played a little bit of. I picked up Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door for $30, which was originally $60 or something more than that, which is a redo of the GameCube game, but still also good. And then I also bought Final Fantasy Tactics and Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on the Switch too. Both of those are good. I did the same thing in 2023. I spent $300 on Switch games in 2023. So that was when I got the Switch OLED, I believe. So it's just whenever I get new Nintendo hardware, I go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I've considered a lot of these games, actually, like Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. We talked about. I've considered the Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 is like really, really enticing. That one I've actually saw advertised it at the movie theater, and I was like, oh man, maybe we should get those.
It's fun.
I miss having a Mario, a 3D Mario platforming game. Like man, Odyssey was just so good. I'm ready for another good one.
Those ones are good. I've only played the first one, but they are very fun. And the motion controls work on the Switch very well, even though they use the accelerometers instead of the little Wii motion tracking stuff. But I would say you basically have to play that with motion controls if you're going to play it. So just heads up. It's not that fun with a controller.
I got Nintendo Switch Online with my console because I bought it from Costco. Came with Mario Kart and I think 6 or 12 months of Nintendo Switch Online.
Sure.
You had to buy it.
I did. And I paid my $20 for the Switch Online individual membership, which I do every year because it's only $20, which is very reasonable. But I also this year in kind of celebration and in, I don't know, carried awayness of the Switch 2, upgraded to the expansion pack to get access to the N64 games and the GameCube games that they added to the Switch 2, and also the Sega Genesis, which is not that exciting because they don't have any good games. But I did do that, and that was altogether about $55 somehow, which now that I'm looking at it, it should be renewing for about $50 in June. I have not gotten a lot of value out of the expansion pack, so I think I might just drop back down to the regular $20 one, which gets you like cloud saves and that kind of thing, which is nice. And again, it's $20, so it flies under the radar, but I don't think it's worth $50 for me at this stage because I'm not playing those older games on the Switch 2.
Yeah, and you can always upgrade. I mean, this is one of those things that, like, if you play it, good value, good subscription, but I tend to agree with you that I don't know that they're just, I don't know. To me, they're kind of out of sight, out of mind. That, like, I have it with my subscription, and I don't really touch my Switch as often as you do, but like I never even think about them. I never even go to play them. So if you were a person that went and played those things and liked those things, I think it's well worth the subscription for the expansion pass. But I can easily see this just being a thing you can stop getting.
You talked about canceling Humble live on the air. I just canceled my Nintendo subscription live on the air, and I will reactivate it at the cheaper level later when it expires in June. I do want to play Ocarina of Time. Like, I never really played it back in the day, and like it is on the Switch, so I could play Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask for the N64 on the Switch too.
You got 5 months, Chris. Get it done.
Yeah, I guess I'm on the clock now. I got to do it. All right, so that was a $401. I spent more on console games than I did on PC games. I spent nothing on PS5, $0. I looked on my PlayStation account. I spent nothing on the PS5 this year.
Yeah, they didn't really have anything that came out this year that enticed me. Like they didn't really have anything this year that came out that was compelling. I don't know. Did they have a big release this year?
They had Ghost of Yotei. That was their biggest one, which I am like curious about, but not $80 curious about, or $70 or whatever it costs. They also had, for me, they had Indiana Jones and the Great Circle came out on PS5 this year, which I said I was going to buy, but just for life reasons didn't, and haven't yet, and maybe won't. But that was going to be my probably big $70 PS5 game of the year, and it just didn't materialize.
Yeah, looking at your PS5 spend year over year, like it just something happened. Like 2024, it kind of fell off, and 2025 zero. Like, I wonder. I mean, Wolverine, you'll go back to. Like, you'll probably have a purchase in 2026. But I don't know. They haven't had a Spider-Man game, so you haven't purchased anything.
I keep checking to see if Ghost of Tsushima goes on sale, because that's the prequel or the first game, I guess, in the Ghost of Yotei, whatever it is going to be. But Ghost of Tsushima is the first game. And I was like, well, surely they're going to the first game for cheaper so that I like it and then go play the second game. But they have not been discounting it severely enough for me to be willing to kind of take a chance on it. So I continue to wait and see. I think I could actually get it for cheaper on the Humble Store with my discount on PC than I can buy this thing on PlayStation. And it's a PlayStation Studios game, which is the kind of weirdest part of that. But I haven't bought it yet, so whatever.
Okay, subtotal time. We have talked about all of the games and software that we have purchased this year.
Yes.
As a recap, in 2024, I spent a total of $791 on video games themselves. In 2025, I saw a slight increase, I would say, to $1,018. This is pretty consistent for me overall. I've been hovering around $1,000 since we started doing this. So some years a little lower, some years a little higher, some years a little bit more than higher. Last year was a little bit lower than normal, but like average across all of it, $1,000. And I'm really comfortable with where that number is.
My 2024 total was $805, and my 2025 total is $783. So a little bit cheaper, $22 less. Which I am very surprised at, because I went crazy with the Switch purchases this year. But I also spent, I don't know, almost half on PC games than I did last year.
Yeah,
so
massive Switch.
I guess it all evens out. Switch, get it? Haha. Yes, so I have been, I guess, almost steadily decreasing, almost kind of, the last several years. And this, I guess, keeps the streak alive, although it was only $20, so it's not like a major thing. But about $800 on software, on games for me in 2025.
Okay, now we get to the section where I get to put my tail between my legs and review a lot of spending.
I mean, you have these years, right? This is just how it goes, right? Especially with hardware, with PC hardware and stuff, is like you can have nothing for a while, and then all of a sudden you need a new computer, you need a new graphics card. I mean, in 2023, I spent, I don't know, $2,300 on PC hardware, and most of that was a GPU. So like, we all have our years.
We all have our years. And in everything that we have recorded here at this point, I don't have any spend on PC hardware. Chris does this thing where he upgrades a little bit at a time, upgrades GPU and then CPU kind of off cycle of each other, and does a really nice job of buying things that work with each other and doing all of that work. I don't. I just drop a whole lot of money every 5 to 7 years. But since 2021, which is what the data I have on this document in front of me right now, basically $0 spent on any PC, anything hardware wise. In 2025, as we know, if you listen to the show, I bought a PC. I bought the whole thing. I bought the tower. I bought the graphics, just everything. Right. I actually bought it pre-built. I did not choose to build it myself. I went through CyberPower PC, which was a fairly good process. It was fine. Took a little longer than I wanted to get the computer, but that was, during a time where graphics cards were hard to get. And I ended up spending $2,955 on a new computer with an RTX 5080, a 9800 X3D CPU, and 64 gigabytes of RAM. I think, looking back on it now, about a year later, I'm pretty happy with that purchase. I think it's still a solid computer. I still am very happy with it. That computer is obviously cheaper now to get the same specs, but that might not be true for very long. And, I got to use it for a whole year. So I'm pretty happy with that purchase. And I think this thing will set me for at least a couple years, like at least 4 years at the very least, if not longer.
Yes, I think you should be fine for several years at this point. I don't know what the thing that would push you over the edge would be, but 64 gig of RAM and a 5080, I think you'll be fine. Meanwhile, on the other hand, I think I may never just buy PC hardware ever again because it's way too expensive. Or it's going to get way too expensive. Like the RAM prices are going crazy. Maybe it can just be a luxury purchase at some point, but from where I sit right now, I'm just like, I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, but like I have 32 gigs of RAM. I have a 6-year-old CPU and I have a 4090. And, so far that's doing okay, but the CPU is the thing that I'm worried about. And if you buy a new CPU, you almost have to buy more RAM. And if you've been paying any attention to the RAM markets lately, they are not great.
Yeah, not good. I have some DDR4 RAM you can have.
Oh, really? I mean, that would fit in my current computer.
Okay, well, that would solve your RAM problem. And if you go, you could find a DDR4 motherboard, compatible motherboard and go with a socket that I think you could get away with something where you upgrade your CPU and not go crazy on a motherboard and reuse your RAM. And you actually may be able to get a pretty sizable upgrade for not a huge investment. But you're right. Your CPU is going to start to be your bottleneck, particularly in the games like World of Warcraft or other, CPU heavy games. I don't see anything else on ones that you've purchased this year, but I know, particularly with add-ons and the way World of Warcraft works, your CPU can be a major bottleneck. And having a 9800 X3D has made that experience very smooth. So I think there's a way to do it in 26 if you were interested in doing that. But looking at the spend that you have, which is, kind of an analogy for the time you spend, I don't know that it's worth it.
I don't think it is. And that's the thing, is like the things I'm buying are mostly indie games, whatever that means, and games that run on a Steam Deck. So like my gaming PC should be able to keep up with that for a while. But if we get really into WoW and my computer can't keep up, it will frustrate me enough that I may seriously consider figuring out a way to solve that problem. But I'm not doing anything today. And in 2025, I didn't do anything. So my hardware spend was zero.
Okay, so normally in years where a Switch or Nintendo hardware or a PlayStation hardware comes out, I can be like, Chris spent so much more than me. But we both bought a Switch 2 this year, and I decided to also buy an Asus ROG Lix. So
wow.
Can't really rub it in Chris's face this year.
Nope.
I don't regret, and this is kind of this is the toughest one on my list. Everything else we've talked about, all of the games, I'm super happy with the purchase. Switch 2, we've talked about it on previous episodes. It was a really tough $500 to spend or $550 to spend. but it's a long-term investment, right? Switch 1 lasted 10 years or something like that.
Yes.
Switch 2 is going to last a similar length, right? It was a tough money to spend, but and immediately after the purchase, I had some regret. But now looking back a little later, I was like, okay, I played it a little bit, and I know that I'm going to continue to play it a little bit year after year after year. So fine. The Asus ROG Ally X was $730 of hardware that I bought this year that I am I would say on the scale from 0 to 10 of regret, I'm solid at a 5, right in the middle.
Really?
Because it's a good piece of hardware, and I have used it a few times. My girlfriend has actually used it a few times for the games that she plays, particularly the ones that require Windows and can't be played on a Steam Deck. And the reason I bought it was for that LAN party that we had with a bunch of guys all together in the same house, and I used it as my platform, right? And I had a really good time, right? So I have very fond memories of using this device. But in the grand scheme of it, $730 for this device that I don't use all that often, I'm right in the middle on regret. So, it's informed me not to buy the Xbox version of this because I don't really need it, and I know I won't use it. But
so that saved you $1,000.
Yeah, exactly. So, but of all of the things on this list, I would say that's the largest look back and say, did I really need that this year?
I think this is heavily influenced by how much travel you did or didn't do last year. Because if I had purchased an ROG Ally X in early 2025, I would have gotten so much mileage out of it. Just because I was traveling so much, and I did use my Steam Deck and the Switch 2 quite a bit. So I guess the one challenge is that you're locked in to those specs, and so that thing's not going to get any better. But if you find yourself in a time where you're doing more flights or more traveling in general and more LAN parties and things like that, I think you will be happy to have it.
I agree, and you're right. In general, I did not travel nearly as much in 25 as I do normally. So, okay, I'll take it. But I'm still kind of there. I'll take that feedback, and maybe you're just telling me to spend more money on things that don't get recorded here, like travel. That I can use.
That's not in scope.
Is that the advice I'm saying?
Yeah. You should definitely travel. You should travel to come visit me.
There you go. All right. But that doesn't get recorded here, so whatever. I can do as much of that as I want.
Exactly. I don't think that we mentioned what your total there was, actually. You just said you bought 2 different handheld gaming consoles.
Oh, yeah. And then I bought some kill switches and some other stuff. My total for what we call other gaming hardware, which is non-PC related hardware, is $1,490.
I'm not that much far behind you, other than I didn't buy an ROG Ally X. My total was $841, and it was exclusively on Switch 2 stuff, except for one $25 case I bought for the Steam Deck, because I really like the kill switch for the Switch, and I wanted something similar but not as expensive. So I spent $841 on Switch 2 stuff, basically, which includes $531 of Switch itself. So I spent an additional $300 on stuff for the Switch 2.
This is maybe another opportunity for me to say I spent $200 on D-brand kill switches this year, one for the Switch 2 and one for the ROG Ally X. I think they're great. I think they're worth $100. The $100 is the whole kit. It's the screen protector and the button covers and the I don't know, what do you call that? The film, the
little stickers. Yeah, the little color thing.
Yeah, the stickers you put on them along with the actual case. Skins, that's what it is. And I just bought the plain black matte one, but they're a good purchase, and I really like it makes it really easy to throw it into backpacks and whatever. It doesn't really matter, but I think for $100 those are really good value purchases.
Yeah, I bought the Kill Switch 2 for the Switch 2, and it was a total game changer, because I have several zipper cases similar to the Steam Deck case for both the Steam Deck and the Switch 1. I have, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 little zipper cases between those two devices that I had. But now I just have the Kill Switch, and I use that for my Switch 2, and it's been really, really nice. So I highly recommend the Switch 2 Kill Switch. And like I said, I bought the JS Aux mod case for the Steam Deck for $25, which is kind of like a Kill Switch, except that it's like less good. But for the Steam Deck, it doesn't really matter as much because the controllers don't come off the sides and all that stuff. And I just needed something that could be like a self-contained hard piece of plastic that goes over the screen and sticks and lets me throw it in a bag. So this fit the bill for that. And I am very happy that I did that. But I only did that because I had the experience with the Kill Switch.
Okay, so as a quick review that we're just going to brush by really fast, I spent $4,445 on hardware this year.
And I spent $841.
Okay, well, now it's time for the grand total. I'm looking back at previous years, 2023, when Chris bought a graphics card, and I'm feeling less bad about myself. So, because, it's been a couple years, things get more expensive, but now's the time when we total it all together. If you total everything I spent on software and everything I spent on hardware this year, I spent quite a bit of money. I don't know how to feel about it, but I spent $5,463 in 2025 on gaming related purchases.
And I spent $1,624 total in 2025, which is almost double what I spent in 2024, just to make you feel a little bit better.
I have to compare myself to you in 2023.
Okay.
Because that's the year you bought your I think you bought a PlayStation 5?
No, I bought something else. It was a Switch OLED and a GPU, I believe.
Okay. And a GPU. And so when I look at $5,000, I have to put it into context that this was absolutely a building year, an investment year, something that is not going to happen every year. And really what it's done for me is given me a little pause on all of the Valve hardware coming out next year.
Okay.
Because I want all of it and it looks so cool, but I spent so much this year that next year probably can't also be an investment year.
I mean, I guess it could be. It'd be a lot of investment, but I guess you could have an investment era. I also have my eye on all of that Valve stuff, like the Steam Machine, which looks fun, although maybe not that practical, but looks fun. And the little VR thing, because I still have not jumped into VR, and that would be an interesting way to do it. You could just get the controller, just get the Steam controller and pretend like you have a Steam Machine with your fancy desktop.
Sure, that, or I could find a use for the ROG LIX and send it up in a dock somewhere on some TV and use the controller.
That would be about the same experience. All those things.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be pretty close. So yeah, I could do the controller. The controller's what, 80, gonna be like 80,
maybe $100 tops,
somewhere around there.
Yeah,
somewhere around there. The Steam Machine would be nice, but how much different is it really going to be from putting an ROG LIX on a dock somewhere? I mean, obviously it's a little bit more powerful, but I can stream, right? From, like you said, the in-house streaming experience is really not all that bad.
Yeah, it works well. An interesting thing about my total, because I was kind of pivot tabling this thing backwards and forwards in my internal spreadsheet. 3/4 of my game spending was on Switch and Switch 2 stuff this year. Like a full 3/4, which includes the hardware and includes a bunch of games and stuff. But like, if you really play it out, like that's a lot percentage wise. But I did play a lot of Switch 2 this year too. So, I mean, I feel good about it. It was just an interesting statistic.
Do you feel like 3/4 of your time was on the Switch 2 this year?
Probably not fully. But I feel like because it was a new hardware year, I probably spent, I don't know, a third to half of my time on the Switch 2 this year of gaming time. I played a lot of Blueprints, Jason.
That's funny. I am kind of reflecting at this point, you saying that, and I look at this total and I look at all the games I bought and I look at particularly like my Steam spend and some of my other like spend on MMOs, and I spent more in 2025, obviously, but even just looking at like software and taking some of the investment, I'll call them the investment purchases out. I spent more at a reasonable level, but I also feel like I spent more time playing games in 2025 than I did in 24. I don't know what to attribute that to. But it's congruent with the spend, and I think I'm happy about that. Like, I think I have to go back and listen to last year's episode. I really should. But I think I was talking about the decrease year over year that I was kind of experiencing, because I had been up total spend closer to the 2,000 mark in some previous years, and the decrease was mirrored by a decrease in time. And I don't know if I made a commitment on the last episode, but I feel like I spent more time playing games this year, and I'm not upset about that. I'm not put off by that. And I'm kind of reflecting now and saying, okay, I spent more time. I feel like I spent some valuable time. I feel like I did some actual like valuable de-stressing and like chilling, and because I've put a lot of time into work and I put a lot of time into other things in my life this year, but I've also continued to find time to play games this past year, more than maybe in some previous years. So, and it hadn't really hit me until like this moment that I spent that time there, and I am okay with that.
If I remember correctly, on the previous episode, on last year's episode, we were both kind of navel gazing and lamenting that we didn't have, growing older, you don't have as much time to play games and stuff, and you have more money but less time, kind of a thing. And I think we were kind of both a little bit wistful about that. But I'm glad to hear that you're finding time and being able to feel like you're getting value out of the money and time that you're spending with games. Because I think I am in the same boat. And a lot of that comes from 2-hour rule things, and a lot of that comes from, being more intentional about games and such. But it is nice to feel that way. And I think that was a really cool observation that you made.
Yeah, I think about the feelings that I'm having right now, right? Like, I always remember as a kid, like always wanting more time to game, always more, right? And anytime I had to get up and go do something else, I was like, I just want to keep gaming. And I don't remember that feeling much this year, but at the same time, I also don't remember any feelings of like, I wish I was game. Like, I wish I was playing a game right now. Right. Like, I feel like this time, for the first time in a long time, I've had a really nice balance where like life, work, hobbies are all kind of balancing a little bit. And maybe this is like a reflection of finally getting back to a little bit of normalcy after 2020.
Wow.
Because it threw a huge wrench into everything, right? It was wild what happened to our lives. And it really may have taken this long for me to be like, okay, I know where the time needs to be spent or can be spent and find a comfortable balance again.
Meanwhile, I have a lot of outside of gaming life changes going on and a very demanding work schedule right now. So I feel like I am spending less time overall gaming, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's just life, ups and downs and all of that. And maybe sometime in the future, I'll be in the Jason position giving the same observation, hopefully.
Yeah, I have a feeling we might switch eventually.
Yes.
Okay, I think it's my turn this year, Chris, to say what needs to be said, particularly with this being an investment and a building year. Chris and I recognize that, even his spend at $1,600 is a privilege, right? We get to spend the money on gaming, our hobby, and we recognize that not everyone can do that. I highly recommend taking advantage of the free games that are out there to build your libraries, and spending responsibly. I am very lucky to be able to buy a computer in 2025 and consider the idea of buying Valve hardware in 2026. And I recognize that, right? I recognize that not everyone can do that. I think PC gaming continues to be a tough thing to break into, particularly from the cost standpoint, and that has always been what consoles are there to provide. Kind of that entry point. I'm hoping that Valve makes a better entry point with their Steam machine. And I think we said it last time, or I think we said it last episode, where, these handhelds are this cross between console and PC gaming that just bring that wall down a little bit into entering into gaming. And I highly recommend them. I think they're a great place to go.
Yeah, I would say if you were trying to break into PC gaming at this point, like if you were just starting out, I mean, I guess you'd say, get a hand-me-down PC from a friend or something like that. That would be the easiest way to go. But if you were looking to spend money on PC gaming at this phase, I think the ROG Ally X, the Xbox ROG Ally X, or even an OLED Steam Deck for $650 or less would be a great entry point to be able to get into PC gaming. You won't be able to use as many of the free games if you're on a Steam Deck than you will on an ROG Ally. But go for that $1,000 ROG Ally X if you have a little bit more money to spend, and then if not, the kind of mid-tier Steam Deck, especially Steam Deck OLED. I still want one of those because of that OLED screen, but I'm not buying one. That would be the way to go. And just if you want to play on a TV, get a dock and a controller, and you'll have a great time.
Chris, I don't know about you, but it is extremely important we record this episode after the first of the year.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I spent all the way up to the 31st.
My final purchase was not quite that late, I don't think. I think the last... Oh, wait, no, never mind. I did buy something on the 28th of December. So, yeah, I was pretty close to the end.
Yeah, I don't know that I was all the way to the 31st. There was one year where I literally bought something on the 31st. I was the 28th as well. I bought something on Steam on the 28th. So it's thanks everyone for waiting into 2026 to hear this episode, because we can't do it a day earlier.
Nope, we cannot.
Every year we have to delay it all the way to the end. So appreciate the patience into January to hear this episode. It has been a joy again to go back and look through our purchases and to do this review.
Yeah, I know at least I have purchased at least one or two games since the first, kind of structuring my purchases a little bit to take advantage of the Steam sale, but after the end of the year so that it didn't count on this year's thing. So
me too, Chris.
Look forward to that for next year.
Every year. Ooh, I won't have to talk about this for a whole year.
I mean, that's what I did with the WoW thing, of course, and it worked to spectacular fashion. So I'm still proud of that.
Still angry about that. We're going to talk about that after we stop recording.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Thanks for joining us for another annual episode, everyone. If you have comments or questions or, I don't know, we don't ever post the full breakdown, but if you want some details, you can ask for them by joining our Discord, which you can get to at discord.pnapodcast.com.
If you want to find our show notes or any of our older episodes, I highly, highly, highly recommend the previous spending episodes, which we will have listed in the show notes. You can visit our website at pnapodcast.com. That's P, the letter N, the letter A, podcast.com.
If you're enjoying the show, including all of our annual episodes, we would love if you could share it with some others that might enjoy it as well.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you next time. That purchase I made on December 28th was Clair Obscur Expedition 33. You might have heard of it.
Nice.
This small indie game from a studio of 7 people or whatever. It might have won an award or two at the Game Awards. We may have talked about it a little bit. I hadn't played it up to this point. I didn't really play it on Game Pass or anything like that. So this was my first playthrough, my first experience with it. Yeah, it's a pretty good game. I can see why people like it.
Yeah, it's just a small little indie game. It's pretty good. What did you know about the game before going in? Particularly, what did you know about the story, and what did you know about the combat?
Okay, so I had listened to the Triple Click episode about it, so I knew the premise of the story of the numbers thing and the paintress, and like she writes the number and the people disappear and all that stuff. And I knew that the combat was turn-based and that it was like a French JRPG is what people had called it. So I like that turn-based thing. That's like Final Fantasy X, which I really like. So I'm into that. I have found the combat to be harder than expected. The parries and the dodges are harder than I expected, and I had to turn the difficulty down.
Okay. All right. I was going to ask. I started on normal because I wanted to experience what normal was.
Right. Me too.
Right. What the difficulty level was. And then I too decided to turn the difficulty down because I wasn't having fun replaying, boss battles over and over again. Once I kind of understood what combat was, I was like, all right, cool. Now I just want to win.
Yeah, I am still very early. I have gotten through the first, I guess, like zone or whatever you want to say. And like my party is currently only 3 people. So I think there's 4 people on the cover art. So I'm assuming there's this person to come somewhere. Everybody keeps checking in and saying like, I made it to the end of Act 1. I am not at the end of Act 1. So I am very early in this game because I don't have a ton of time to play it. But I have sat down and played it, I want to say 4 or 5 times for like an hour at a time each time. And I am enjoying it.
Okay. All right, cool. End of Act 1. That's all right. You let me know when you get there.
Okay. But I'm not there. So if you wanted to talk about that, I don't have context yet. But I have some theories. I've been like gathering ideas as I've been watching the cutscenes and things.
Ooh, this is like a book club. I want to hear your theories.
All right. We'll talk about it maybe offline.
Did you before you started playing, did you like, so you knew the story in a little bit, but like did you remember the trailer? Because okay, so I'm gonna kind of spoilers, but it's the prologue,
I can jump
right?
to the end and say no, I don't remember the trailer.
Oh my god. So that like first scene where like in the prologue where the number changes from 34 to 33.
Yes.
Like that was it's just an emotional moment. It's so good, and the music and
Yes. I did not remember any of that because I don't remember trailers. So that was like I could kind of expect it. I could kind of see where it was going, obviously. But like, yes, it was a very well paced, well acted, well done emotional scene for a game that you started playing 30 minutes ago.
Yes, they build it so fast.
That's, I think, the most impressive thing is that, and people have described it that way and be like, it's a game that doesn't handhold you to its story or its, thing. And it does not, but it is really nice that it just kind of like pitches you into this thing. And like, you're not that confused. Like you understand the gist of it, but like, it's cool that just everybody just assumes that you know what's going on.
Yes. Yeah. That's cool.
There's not much like tutorializing, or at least not overt tutorializing.
No, and there's a little bit of it, but like to learn the game, but there's not like overt like monologuing, right?
Right. Oh, hello, professor. Tell me all about the thing and do all the stuff. Like there's none of that like 30-minute long cutscene of explaining the whole world. Right.
Now it could probably use a little bit more tutorializing in the combat side of it, particularly what weapons to choose and how to equip and how to upgrade and all of that. Like it could probably use a little bit more there. But you got guides to fill in. Like if you really want to min-max and like learn it, and you've got YouTube to go look at. Just keep going, Chris. Keep going. Get to the end of Act 1, and then let's talk.
Okay. I will make a quick comment that easy is too easy. I want something between easy and normal because nothing hurts when it hits me, and I want it to be at least a little bit of stakes.
Ooh, okay.
Like things hit me and it's like single digit damage. And I feel like, and I have, 400 health or whatever. And I feel like it should chunk me for at least a little bit more than like 2% of my health for like a giant boss hit. But that's what story mode difficulty is. I need like easy, I need like story, easy, normal. And they just have story and normal. So I'm missing that kind of like small step up from where I am of the, like, I think I can handle this, but I don't want to have to redo battles over and over again. Like you're talking about.
Right. I don't remember that experience. I remember getting hit with a little bit more than that, but it might be because you're still, in Act 1.
True. Yeah.
I do remember getting a little harder, like not like impossible, but like I had to make sure I was healing between battles. Level of difficulty, I would say.
I don't feel like that.
I'm like losing team members. So give it a little bit more time.
Oh, I will. Yeah, I will.
The game does expect you, like if you're playing on normal, and that's kind of where I tapped out. The game does expect you to scale, right? It does expect you to take advantage of of the build craft that you could do. It doesn't expect you to do like all the way, but like it doesn't scale. I don't remember it scaling linearly. I remember it scaling a little bit more aggressively than that, because the game starts, like, things start to play off each other, that you start to be able to like build combos and do more damage, and you unlock more skills, and you start to be able to do things that are more than just linearly increasing damage. So I think easy, like the mode you're playing on does get slightly harder. I don't ever think it gets to the point where you're worried about losing over and over again.
Okay, well, I guess I'll eagerly await things to get a little bit more interesting, but it's hard to talk around all this stuff. But like, I am still interested in playing this game some more, and I've been trying to kind of develop my characters and figure out some of the synergies and things, but I haven't fully explored it all yet.
Ugh. If I could experience this game again without like erase the knowledge and experience, I would. That this is okay. All right, we have to do a spoiler cast on this.
All right.